Hello, Tamara here. Nice of you to join me, and a very, very warm welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here with me today, and we're on part 2 of the Exploding Box and Album project that we've been doing recently on my channel. And in this video we're going to be putting together our album, and hopefully if we get time we'll also put together the little file folder that also is in the kit. A little bit of housekeeping first of all. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Every subscriber really does help my channel grow, and it gets my channel noticed by YouTube's algorithm. Thank you if you are already a subscriber. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. The other thing is if you want to buy this kit already cut out, ready for you to just assemble yourself, then head over to my website, which is tamarmortoncrafts.com, and you would be able to buy the kit there. You'll get everything in the kit to make this project, apart from your glue and your double-sided tape, pattern paper, and your cardstock, because all those things I think most of us have already got. You don't have to. So with the album, so in the kit you will have your front and your back album covers, and you'll have 3 spines as well. 2 of the spines have got your cutouts. That's what we're going to put our magnets into. If you've cut this out yourself, then what you could do is use a crocodile to cut out your holes, and make sure you cut them out together. And then so if you then cut out one, draw round it what you've cut out onto your next piece, and then cut that out as well, you should then have your magnets in the same place. So let's put it together. So these are going to go on the outside edges, and then the full spine is obviously in the middle. Now what I will get out quickly here is my very precious, I need to stroke these. These are some hinge spacers that I've got from Cool Cat Crafts. Love them, that shop, I really do. So we'll leave them there because that's what I'm going to need. Now if you haven't got any of these, you can use 2 pieces of your 2mm grey board sandwiched together to create your hinge, to create your space in between your hinge. So you don't need to have those, you can get around it. Doing our hinges, so again with the tape, so if you get your foundation tape, then we're just going to put it so it's half on and half off your your grey board. Grab one of your hinges or your grey board and just put them so that they butt up to your grey board cover, and then you can put your spine in there like so. Oh, and that's not straight. So butt it up as far as it will go. And for some unknown reason, there we go. There we are. That's better. It now isn't straight. So how I take these off is I just lift the tape up. I bring this over to the edge and just then ease that off the side like so. I bring the shorter piece over, burnish that bit down, and then bring this bit up, cut the excess off, and then just bring it over like so. Okay, so going on to the next one. Now what I'll do before I forget is I will put up a list of all the measurements for this video that you will need. Now there is a PDF cutting guide as well that you can download, that will be in the description box as well. So if you want to download that and print that out, you can. But if you haven't got a printer, then you can just pause the screen with all the measurements on and then write them down from there. So I've put the second one on exactly the same as the first. Now I'm just making sure I've got this the right way. I have. So this album is slightly bigger on one side, so we've got, it's a 6 1/4 by 6 3/4, and that will come apparent a little bit later when we come to do our hinges. So let me pull that off. Okay, open, just push that open and then bring down that second piece, bring up that bottom piece, and then just burnish those down like so. Okay, so that's your spine on. So coming over to the closures, again we're going to do exactly the same as what we've done there. You just pull it open, put your your foundation tape on one side, bring that over, and then bring this one on like so. Put this on. Okay, take this off, bring that over, take that off, and then bring that up. Like so, and then this then is going to become your closure. Now you need to work out what you want your closure to do. Do you want it to open with this side coming down and then you pull it open, or do you want it where this is over the top and then you pull it up that way? I'm actually going to have it so this one is my top piece. So we'll just put this one on. I'll double check just to make sure. Okay, so just cut that bit off and push these on. Push these on. Push that on there. Okay, pull that up. Open that one. Remember to burnish really well these so that the two pieces of tape stick together. Okay, like so, and then that then is going to become our book like so. Okay, you see that? So putting our magnets in, so we need to put some of our tape over those holes. Okay, because that's where our magnets are going to go. Like so. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of glue just into that sticky area. Like so, 1, 2, 3, and then add our magnet. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'll add some more tape over the top just to keep those magnets in place. one side magnet's done. So now we need to do the next. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just get myself a clip. Ready. Turn them this way so it's the right side. Add your tape to these holes. Like so. Okay. Then I'm going to add my glue and then our magnets. So just making sure that we've got the right magnet. So how I'm going to do it is I've put the two sides together, getting your little bulldog clip, get your magnets, and your magnets are going to find the natural force, hopefully. There we go, so that's 1. 2. Now turn this up this way. 3. So once you take this off, you should then be left with the magnets in the right place. Excellent. And because we've done it from this side, the sticky tape, the magnets didn't fall out. So, oh, I knew that was going to happen. I love it when I come to the end of a roll and you start a brand new one. So, a bit of tape there. I might as well use all of this. Okay. Bear with while I just get myself another tape. Okay, so once we've got our album together like so, and you can see that's not going to go anywhere now. Nothing worse than having an album that you haven't put enough magnets on and it just flaps open all the time. So these are nice strong magnets. So we're going to edge our edges now. Now I always find it easier to edge after we've constructed our album. So I'm going to open it out like so, get my album base and just put it so that it's half on, half off that sticky tape. Cut off this excess here as close as you can be to the edge of your board. Turn it round and do the same thing to this side like so. Burnish that down. Then what I tend to do is just give it a wiggle so that it sticks to the edge and then fold it over, and in that way you end up with not having any creases in your tape. Okay, if you want to just give it another burnish. Now I have got a brand new one. Look what my dog did. I wasn't happy, I have to say. Luckily when I saw Kay and Maggie from Cool Cats at the Crafting Live, I was able to purchase another one, which is here somewhere. I have put it in there, I promise. There it is. No, it's not. That's not it. There, look, I've not even opened it. Look, it's still in its wrapper. So let's just pull this open again. We're going to do. I'm going to move these. This again to get in the way. Okay. So open your tape out again. This time I'm just going to cut that bit off. have your board or your album, and then just stick it on. It doesn't have to be perfect, perfectly straight, should I say, or lined up both ends, because you are going to cover it, so you won't see that it's not level on both sides of your book. So just give that a burnish down, give it a little wiggle, and then push it over onto itself, and then just burnish that bit down. There we go. And so then all we've got left is just the two edges at the top on your closure spine. So those, I tend to just go along the edge, put your tape along that edge, miter those corners, and again on this side, and then push them down like so. Just take the tiny bit off there. Okay, let's open this side. There we go. So that then is our book, our album, near enough constructed. Now it will, until we've got our hinge mount, that will flop over. So the next. Okay, so our hinge mount. You need to cut this out at 5 1/4 by 6 1/8. Okay, that's our hinge mount. Our hinges, you need to cut these out at 3 1/2 by 6 1/8 and 2 1/2 by 6 1/8. We need to do some scoring on those, so I'll leave those to the side and we'll do them in a second. So using your double-sided tape, we're going to put our tape around the back side of the hinge mount, like so. Now this hinge mount, it is a very critical piece in your album. Because we've used tape, it is quite flimsy. So by adding an extra piece of cardstock, it just stabilizes the hinge and makes it a bit more robust and strong and not as bendy. So you need to put your tape around all 4 edges of your hinge mount on the paper, and then also onto your book. Now as you're putting it on the book, do not go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom, because you don't want your double-sided tape to be seen around on the tops and the bottom, because your hinges and your hinge mount doesn't go that far up. You don't need the tape up that far, so give that a good burnish. I'm going to use my brand new one just to burnish those down, just getting all the air holes out. Now if you want to experiment and see how vital it is for you to burnish your double-sided tape, if you have some red liner tape at home, try that, because you will be able to see when you burnish it, all those air bubbles come out. They really do. It's quite amazing actually. So taking off the double-sided tape, you need to take off all 4 corners, all 4 pieces, and I've put our double-sided tape, I didn't say, down each side of that spine hinge, okay, And if you notice, I haven't put it in the middle because we need this middle bit to be a little bit more flexible than what it would be if it was stuck down rigid. Now what I will do is I'm just going to add a bead of glue just around that edge. Okay, so this bit is quite critical because we need this to be straight so that when we put our hinges on and our pages are not going to go winky wonky. So I'm just going to turn it around to see if I've got the top. No, it didn't get the top quite straight, so that's why I didn't stick it down. And I don't know where that saying come from, winky wonky. I've never said that in my life. Okay, so there we go. So there, I think I've got that kind of straight. And when you're happy, just burnish that down again if you've got a bone folder. And if you're working on black card, having a Teflon tool won't give you that shine that you would get if you used a traditional bone folder. So just burnishing that all down. Grabbing a ruler or something similar, you're going to bend your covers over. Using the ruler as a guide, put the ruler into that hinge and just bend up against that ruler like so. Now what that's going to do is give you a very straight crease. Do the same with the other side. Bring that over as well. Give it a bit of a wiggle. And then this is where you get your wiggle on. So then we just wiggle that backwards and forwards like so. And then that will give you a nice straight crease in there. And then when we come to put our book together, it is virtually standing up straight. It's not leaning to one side as it was doing before we put that hinge mount on. So that then is the album, near enough done. So coming on to our hinges. Now we're going to have the extendable hinge in this book, hence why we needed our album to be that little bit bigger, so that when we come to put it into our book, into our box, it's going to fit nicely in there and give you a little bit of a space at the top for if you wanted to put a book dangle on there like so. So move that over there. So coming on to our hinges, now these ones are pretty straightforward, these score lines. So we're just going to score at 1/2 inch increments. So a half. And we're going to go to 1, then I'm just going to turn this round and then go to 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, and 3. Okay, and then that gives you them there. So what we're going to do, although it looks like you've got lots on there, you're just going to fold the first 2 ones over like so. Turn it 180 degrees and do the same with the other side. Now you've got these lines here in the middle. Don't worry, because this is what we're going to use as our guide to put our hinges on. So that's hinge 1. So hinge 2 is the same. It's going to be a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and I just need to turn that round. The only reason I turn it round is I only go up to 1 1/2 on this side. So we're going to 1 1/2 and then 2. Okay, fold these, the first 2 ones over, and then you're left with a 1/2 inch gap in the middle there. Can you see that? That is going to fit perfectly into that 1/2 inch gap there. Okay, like so. Such a good hinge system, this. So to burnish those down, I'm going to just fold these 2 ways so that we get a nice crease, like so. Come on this side, fold over, fold back, and then just burnish in the middle, from the middle outwards. There we are. And then that is our hinges near enough done. So now we need to attach them into our album. So remember, get it up whichever way you want. So I'm going to have it so that my opening, I can open down and open across, but you could have it going the other way if you wanted to, opening it that way. I just prefer it that way myself. So now we need to work out, I'm just going to eye it. Now we should be left with a 1/2 inch on either side, I would think. It might even be right, we're actually left with a 1/4 inch gap between the hinges, the hinge system and our page hinges, but that's okay, that is fine. So I'm going to double-sided tape on the back of the hinge 2. Now I'm going to do it so you've got 1, 2 hinges here, 1, 2 hinges there. We're going to put double-sided tape on the 3 columns that are in the middle of our hinge 1. So I'm also going to put some glue on this as well to help. Although this score tape is very, very strong, I do like to just give it that bit of a helping hand. Okay, just burnish that double-sided down. Take it off. Also, when you put the glue on, it gives you some wiggle time as well, because inadvertently I always put it on and need some wiggle time. Who doesn't? Okay, so glue. I'm just going to do some zigzags. You can do lines or circles, whatever you fancy. So this then gets put so that it is eye it as near as you can get it, as straight as you can get it. And just turn that up when I'm happy. I'm just going to move that over a little bit, and I think that is it. Wow, that was easy today. Right, some days it takes me a while to get that in place. So burnish those down, and excuse me just a moment, I'm just going to let that cat in. Okay, so we now need to put the second hinge on, and this is going to go, so your double-sided tape goes in the middle of that middle hinge. Burnish that down, take the backing off, add some glue for some wiggle time. Okay, and then this is going to fit in between those 2 scored lines that you've put in the middle there, like so. Burnish that down, make sure they're straight. Okay, and then that is your base of your album near enough done. So, like so. All we've got to do now is add the papers. So, the next part is going to be our file folder, which is this here. And this is pretty simple to make. And it's got some little files inside as well. Okay, moving on to our mini file folder box that I made to put into the exploding box. Now this one is slightly bigger than the one we're going to do. Now the reason being is when I did this in practice, there were a few measurements I had to rejig to make something work. So what I've done, this is a 2-inch box and I've made it down to 1 1/4 inch, but you will still be able to get in quite a lot in that, as well as your 3 little surprise file folders as well. So let's get on with the measurements. So what you will need is 2 A4 sheets of your cardstock, and we're going to cut it so that it is landscape on your trimmer. So we're going to cut it at 6 1/4, and we're going to cut both of them together at the same time, okay, so that you've got the 2 there. Right, so once you've cut your pieces out, we need to stick them together. So using your double-sided tape, we're going to put the tape along the bottom of one of your sheets of card that you've just cut. Now you're going to do it so that you leave about an 1/8 of an inch gap between the edge of your paper and your double-sided tape. To do it that way, that means it alleviates you having any double-sided tape showing on the other side. So I'm just going to take that backing off. Now you can put also a little bead of glue if you want to, just along there, just to give it a bit more oomph. Okay. Then we just stick the 2 together. Now I use the top of the double-sided tape as a guide to how far to go up with my paper. Okay, make sure your sides here are lined up. Okay, give that a burnish down, get it up like so. Now I'm not going to cut this until the very last minute. If you want to, you can. It would be at 15 1/8, okay? But we're working now from front to back. So we're going to do the front, score, then the bottom, score, then the back, score, the top, score, and then we'll cut off, and then what's left will be our flap. So we need our first score line, and if you've got one of these trimmers, remember not to cut and to score. Cut it down to score it at 5 1/2. Okay, move your paper up and score it at 6 3/4. Score. Move it up again and score it at 12 1/4, all the way down here, 12 1/4. The next one is going to be 13 5/8, so 13 5/8, and then you're going to cut this one at 15 1/8. Okay, like so. Now I've given us about an 1/8 of an inch more on the top of our box than on the bottom, because what I found was happening is it was getting a bit stuck on this side. So hopefully this is going to alleviate that. So that's the front part of our box folder. So now what you need to do is we need now to cut 2 more pieces, but these need to be cut at 7.5 by 3 1/4, and you'll need 2 of these. So 3 1/4. Hoping I'll get, no, I need another sheet. So 7.5 by 3 1/4. Okay. Now these 2 have to have our score lines on all 4 sides. Okay. I was going to do 2 together, but I thought better of it. So score both of them at 1 inch all the way around. Okay. I'll be quick with this. So that's 1. Okay, so that's the 2 pieces. Next, what we need to do is, I'm just scoring these just lightly at the moment. So you need to work out what's going to be the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to, for the bottom, we need to fold one of the sides over, so like so, so fold it over, and then we're just going to give ourselves a little triangle. So we're going to cut into the 2, so cut up to that first score line and then chop off, and then that's going to give us a nice triangle in there. And do the same with this side. So I'm just going to get that right. I'm going to turn it this way just so that I can cut it the right way, like so. So then that's your cutout for the bottom. Now for the top, you've got 2 options. You can do the same and fold that over so that goes over the top of your box, so it would look like that. So you'll have it over there like so. Okay, so it'll be right up to the edge and it'll look like that. Now you're not going to see that really because it is going to be covered, so again that's up to you. The other alternative is if you cut them off completely. I'm going to cut mine off, so all you do is I'm just going to cut off that square. Now I'm also going to mitre that corner as well, so I'm just going to cut the top bit off like so, then fold them over, and then again just mitre. Now that will come off, but that's fine, we don't want that bit on there. Again, do the same with this one. I'm just going to fold that way so that I can cut into it. So I'm doing it right-handed like so. So then that gives you that nice folded little flap. Okay, so that'll be the top. So do the same for the other side. So cut, then we're going to cut this side off, so this will be the top and the top, cut, and then this side as well. So you'll end up with something that looks a little bit like that. Okay, so that's your top. Now what you can do also is, which I haven't done on these, is just very slightly mitre that top corner, that top edge as well, so that it's not sticking above our, although this is going to stick on the outside, you're not going to see that, but we don't want, we want it to be hidden, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mitre there. and this side as well. There we are. So, sticking it together. Now we are going to work in sort of a tandem. We're going to do one and then the other. It's the same as if you're doing, you're drawing eyes. You have to do the two at the same time. So, how I'm going to do it, I'm just going to put it at the moment with the outside edge goes underneath. Then you've got your flap up here in the middle. That's going to go on the bottom of your book, of your folder, and then you've got the outside edge again underneath. So having your piece of paper that's going to be the front and the back of your box folder, you need it so that you've got the front piece without the flap towards you, and the back piece with the flap goes away from you. Okay, that way you'll know that you've got it in the right place. You can do it the other way around, it's just how I've done it my way. So we're going to put our double-sided tape on that middle glue tab, and it goes on the mountainside fold. So I'm going to do it with this one as well, like so. I will put a little bit of glue on this as well as the double-sided. So take that off, take that off, and add a bit of glue. Okay, now so it goes underneath, and this one is facing upwards, and then you're going to marry score line and score line together. Okay, score line and score line together, and then what you'll do is you'll just push down or pull down very gently so that you kind of get everything in line. Okay, like so, and then when you're happy, stick that down. Now again, take this off and take your double-sided tape off, and again on here, glue. Okay, marry the score lines and score lines together, and then pull this glue tab down so that you kind of get all the score lines are going to be in the right place, and then stick down when you're happy. Okay, like so. So you end up with something that looks a little bit like that. Okay, so now you've got a choice. Okay, I'm going to do it this way, but you can do it if you want to, where you put this on the outside and then you marry them up. That way is just as good a way as any. But I'm going to do it where my sides are inside, and then it gives me a nice flat finish on the outside. I'm just going to double check something here to make sure. Yes, that's fine. That gives me a nice, yeah. Right, so turning your piece over, and what we need to do now is put your tape on the 4 outer edges of your box. Okay, so that's one side, because how we're going to do it is we need to work on a side at a time. So we'll do one side, so we'll put one side down, so maybe the front side, and then the front side on the other opposite side. Too many sides. And there we go, like that. We'll also put our tape on to the little flaps that are also going on the inside. Okay, so these are going to go, I'm just going to push that over and turn that back round so that I can see what I'm doing. So these need to go, so your tape and glue need to go again on that mountainside fold. and then these are going to stick together, and we're going to put these on first. Okay, so again on the mountain side fold on this, and do. Okay, burnish them down just quickly. Okay, so I'm going to take the double-sided tape off of both sides first. Okay, there and there. Getting there slowly, so off all of the sides. Okay, now I'm going to work on this side first, but you can work on the other side. So I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to marry again the score line here at the bottom, this score line here with this score line here. So it will be this fold with this score line. We're going to marry them up so that they sit flush with each other. Okay, and then do the same with the other side. Again, marry them up so that they sit nice and flush. Okay, burnish them down. Now we're going to do this side again, so because we can't do one without the other. So again, line them up. So score line to score line. Ooh. Turn that round, and again score line to score line. There we are. Burnish them down. So you have got something like that. So you've got two columns that are sticking up, and then your front and your back. So you've guessed it, we're going to do the front first, and then we'll do the back. So taking off your double-sided tape, I will put some glue in the center of this as well. Now what you could do is give yourself some rabbit ears if you wanted to on this side, just in case it doesn't go completely straight the first time. That helps, but if you put some glue on, it does give you a little bit of wiggle time. So putting them down on the putting your columns down on the back, you need to hold them in place. Now they won't stick because obviously we have not taken that double-sided tape off yet, so I'm going to just work on this one side first. So I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to just, as I'm bringing it down, maneuver it into place. Okay, I can do the same with this side. Again, just line them up with each side, and again on here, as you push down, line them up and then push them down. So then we should have some nice straight lines. Just burnish them down so that you get that glue nice and spread evenly, and then we can come on and do the back. And we're going to do exactly the same with the back. So take that off, take this off, and this one. I do wish I could find something to do with all this backing of this double-sided tape. It would be so nice to see if find something that we could make with it. Okay, so glue on each side, and again just bring them up so that they are literally, the side of your box is level with the side of your back, and do the same with this one. This one may stick. If it does, that's why we've got the glue. So hopefully we can pull it off without it ripping, like so, and then just bring that up so that it is nice and flush. Okay, so give those a burnish down. You should be able to put your hand in there and just burnish that. And then this then will go over, and because we had that 1/8 of an inch difference, it's not fighting to close the lid. I don't know if you can see that there, like so. So with that, what I did with this closure is I used one of my dies, and I used this one here, which is the biggest tab die that I have, and I wanted it so that you could do bigger closures rather than have the smaller ones. But this also comes with, this die also comes with a little layering die that you can layer up to put your paper on if you wanted to. So I used this die to cut out my little tab hold here, where it then will close down my box. I also, what I did on this was just round my corners on the flap. I think I used 1/4 inch, I did, like so, and then it gives it a nice finish. So I'm going to go away and cut this out so that we can add the magnets. Okay, I've cut it out ready, and it can we can start to assemble our box. Now I'm going to put this on first, and because then we can just paper over the top of it. So with our magnets, I'm just going to use one so it's big enough to put a big magnet in, or a little, or 2 little ones, or just one on its own. I've kind of sized it that way. Oh, that's a bit squidgy. Okay, it's probably a bit too much on that. There we go. Okay, move that down. I'm going to put some glue just along the bottom there, and on the bottom of the other one. Put a little bit of glue just around the edges just to stick it closed. Lift it up. Now I'm going to eye it in the middle. As we're using glue, you can move it back and forward, but I'm going to just turn it round so that my magnet is on the bottom, and then just push it down. That's not the middle, that's more the middle. Like so. That's looking good. And then what I'm going to do now, let's actually just move that over a little bit. There we go. Is just get my tape. She says, there we go. And hopefully I've put that the right way, and I haven't. So I've got my tape, and what I've done is I've stuck it so that the sticky side is facing upwards, and then I've put my magnet on so that it's attracted by the magnet underneath. And then I'm just going to push that over like so, and what I may need to do is just put something underneath that to keep that, that's better, a bit firmer, so I can stick up everything to it like so. Hopefully I'll get that in, pull that up, hoping that's going to be in the right place, like so. There we go, and then that's in nicely. There we go. So then once we come to cover this, you won't see that underneath, and then that is going to fit in our little box, a box within a box, and then we've got enough space on there if you wanted to embellish a little bit on the front of your book box, you could. That gives us a nice, so it's not too snug in there. And that folds up. We get our lid, and then that all fits in our little box nice and neatly. And then when you take the lid off, it just goes explode, and it explodes out. Just gives a nice, just a nice variation on a box, and I like the size of it as well. It's a nice size. So that's it for today. I will be back in the next video where we will be doing the pages for our folio. So we will get those done, and then hopefully we will be able to start to decorate. So thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really, I can't express how important it is that you do subscribe. It really does help my channel grow. So please don't forget to do that. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Leave me some love as well, and a like. That also helps. I'll also put somewhere around here, I'll put a link, a PR code, where you can scan it, and it will take you to a site called Linktree, and on there is all my social medias, all my links of where I can be found on the internet. So yeah, it's just all in one place. It just makes it so much easier if you can just scan that code. I will also put the code down in the description box, just in case you haven't got a smartphone. You can just click on that link as well. That will just take you straight there. So thanks ever so much again for watching. Wherever you are in the world, please have the most amazing day, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye.